Welcome once again to Musings by Danon. Normally on this channel we talk about anime and manga, but as I'm sure you all know, I'm a fan of a lot of the entertainment that comes out of Japan. Specifically, the role-playing games, which should come as no surprise to long-term viewers. I love stories. Gameplay is secondary to me. So long as the story is good, I can forgive a few glitches in the gameplay. Just a heads up, there will be spoilers for Final Fantasy IV, 6, and 7. Sorry for spoiling 30-year-old video games. When I was young, Final Fantasy I for the Nintendo came out and I was obsessed. There was a cool story. I mean, to a 10-year-old, that story was amazing. And then a few years later, Final Fantasy II came out for the Super Nintendo and I was blown away. A character who starts off using the power of darkness, questions his liege lord's motivations, and then goes on to become a paladin, a warrior of light and justice, and he gets the girl? A story of betrayal, family, forgiveness, redemption, world-ending darkness, and interplanetary travel? Holy cow, this is amazing! And then Final Fantasy III came out, also for the Super Nintendo. If Final Fantasy II was great, Final Fantasy III was perfection. Obviously, later on I would learn that Final Fantasy II was actually 4, and the one I thought was 3 was actually 6. But we didn't know that in America at the time. It wasn't until 7 came out for the PlayStation that we would learn of the deception. So from now on, to avoid confusion, we will refer to them by their original numbering. Also, before I forget, don't you forget to like and subscribe. If you're looking for in-depth analysis of anime, manga, and sometimes geek culture, but only rarely, feel free to stick around. Okay, time for a hot take that isn't hot for anyone who's played both games. Final Fantasy VI is better than Final Fantasy VII. It has a better story, more interesting characters, better world building, and better gameplay. Also, Final Fantasy VI has a better twist. Rather than one girl getting shanked by the bad guy, the entire world gets wrecked. Thousands of people die, and we get to watch it happen. The Earth itself cracks open and swallows whole towns. But a lot of people care about graphics and music, which is understandable. Though I love the soundtrack for Final Fantasy VI, 7 has cleaner, clearer music. This is because of the massive upgrade in power the PlayStation had over the Super Nintendo. 16-bit graphics and music can only go so far, and Final Fantasy VI pushed the Super Nintendo to the absolute limits. But the PlayStation could render 3D graphics. Oh, and the cutscenes were phenomenal. Even with the better graphics and music, I and many other players say that Final Fantasy VI is the superior game. Better characters, better story, better gameplay, and a better setting all help to elevate the game and keep it at the top of my list. And I'm not the only one. So why did Final Fantasy VII get the big splashy remake instead of 6? Money. It always comes down to money. Gaming is a big business, and you have a crew of hundreds of people who all need to support their families. So Square Enix made the decision to remake the more popular rather than the better one. But what if, just what if, the better of the two got a remake? What would that look like? So let's discuss how we would give Final Fantasy VI the remake treatment that Final Fantasy VII has received. First of all, we would want fully fleshed out and voice-acted characters. A bit more detailed backstories. Some of those have been written in other games, and we can just incorporate their stories into the remake of 6. Secondly, instead of splitting the game into 3 parts, I think that we only need 2. We could probably do it in 1 and then just have the World of Ruin be a DLC. So long as it was done in an Elden Ring style DLC, where the DLC is pricey but has a ton of content, most people won't complain. Who am I kidding? Gamers love to complain. It's their favorite hobby. They love to complain about games more than they love playing those games. All joking aside, one of the things that made Final Fantasy VI unique was the fact that every single character could learn every single spell in the game. Everyone had the fight ability, everyone could use items, and past a certain point, everyone could use magic. I wouldn't want to change that aspect. But what I would want to do is incorporate it more. I think Sabin's martial arts skills should be mana infused. I think Edgar should add some lightning magic to his chainsaw. I think Cyan's Bushido abilities could be made even more interesting if he encases his katana in magical flames. Final Fantasy VI is both a celebration of magic, but also a farewell to it. At the end of the game, when Celeste and Terra say goodbye to their powers, a big part of them is also dying. They've had magic for most or even all of their lives. Terra was born with it and Celeste had it imbued upon her. So losing all magic at the end of the game must come as a huge loss to both of them, to say nothing of Realm and Strago. Throughout the remake, I want to see more little scenes of the characters adapting to and benefiting from magic. I want to see Cyan, who struggles with technology, use magic to light a fire so he can brew his tea. This is the kind of magic I want to see throughout the game. So when it is gone, all the characters feel its loss. With this combination from characters wielding magic and utilizing it to empower their individually unique abilities, I feel the possibilities are endless. So I'll let the experts at Square Enix figure out how to solve this problem. But the biggest change between the original pixelated game and the remake will be the graphics. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII has had a huge glow up, but if you look at the evolution between the original cutscenes, the movies that came out, all the spin-offs the game generated, and how the characters look now, you can easily follow one from the other. The changes are slow and subtle, but overall not much has changed between the original game and what's out today. Cleaner art, sure, but Cloud doesn't look that different. Neither does Sephiroth. We don't have that benefit with Final Fantasy VI. Sure, there are some upgraded arts here and there, and a lot of the characters have made appearances in some mobile games, but their art style is similar to that of the 7 remakes. I propose we go a different route. I believe that instead of going forwards, we should go backwards. Hear me out. Rather than trying to come up with a new art style, we have a return to form. Just like how the style of Dragon Quest is tied to Akira Toriyama, Final Fantasy's art all ties together due to the works of one man. I propose we base the art of the Final Fantasy VI remake on the original concept sketches done by the master himself, Yoshitaka Amano. But Danon, you ask, mind blown by this concept. What would something like that even look like? Dear viewer, I want you to think about this for a minute. Yoshitaka Amano has been drawing for decades, and Final Fantasy is not the only project he's been associated with. Long ago, back before Final Fantasy I even came out, there was a series of novels, for which Amano did the cover art. Later on, that art would inspire the animation and art style of 2 movies based on those books. Which books am I referring to? Vampire Hunter D, of course. Think about it. What if we could get a full, gloriously rendered remake of Final Fantasy VI, done in the art style of Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust? I'll just play these scenes back to back and let you imagine what we could have. Now, imagine the entire game like that. Now remember, Vampire Hunter D is 26 years old, and it still looks good. This is due, at least in part, to the timeless style of Amano. So Square Enix, if you're listening, this is what I would love to see. I think we have a winning recipe. Please feel free to use these ideas. Or better yet, consider this a job application. I'd love to lead the project. You'd have to help expedite my work visa, though. What about you? How would you remake Final Fantasy VI? Or, better yet, which game would you remake? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. There are several tiers to choose from. You can pick an anime or manga for me to do a video about, or you can join our monthly manga club. I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons. Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alex, Congo, Robert, Pye, Kazaris, Patrick, Tiz, Art, Richard, Boomy, Oscar, Justin, Golden Walker, Captain Hammer, Sleech, Mr. Salty, and Daniel. You guys are awesome. I post anime or manga videos often, or you can click here to watch additional videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Musings by Danon.